Hello everyone, in this video we will be covering the substitution method of doing simultaneous equations. Now, simultaneous equations is mainly used in high school to find the intercept of two graphs. How we are going to be doing that using the substitution method is that we are going to find x in terms of y or y in terms of x and use that to substitute into the other equation. So I will illustrate this method using an example. Let's consider the example with 3x plus 2y equal to 1 as my first equation and minus 4y plus x is equal to minus 1 as my second equation. Now, like I said earlier, we want to get x in terms of y or y in terms of x from one of these two equations. So what I mean by that is we want to get x is equal to and then something with only y's in it and no x's. Or we want to get y is equal to something with only x's in it and no y's. And we need to get that from one of these two equations. So, looking at these two equations, which one do you think will be able to isolate the x's or the y's? Now, I see in equation 2, we have an x standing all by itself. So that'll be quite easy to isolate. So I'm going to take this minus 4y across to the other side, and then I'll have x is equal to something that only has y's in it. So doing that gives me x is equal to 4y minus 1. And that happened by taking this minus 4y to the other side in equation 2. And now, like we wanted to get, I have x is equal to something that only has y's in it. Now I'm going to be using the substitution method. So x is equal to this, right? So if I have an x in an equation, I can replace it with 4y minus 1. Why can I do that? Because they are equal. So 4y minus 1 is the same thing as x. So using equation 1, not using equation 2, because this is equation 2 in a different form. So I have to put this into equation 1, not equation 2. So I'm going to put 4y minus 1 where x is, because x is equal to this. So I'm going to be replacing x with 4y minus 1. I'm going to be leaving x is equal to 4y minus 1 as my new version of equation 2 over here. And now I'm going to put it into equation 1. So putting x is equal to 4y minus 1 into the first equation, I get this. So I have made a bracket where x was, and I put 4y minus 1 where it was. So from equation 1 to here, all I've done is replaced x with 4y minus 1. And now we can solve this equation and we will find y. So to solve, I'll have to multiply this 3 into the bracket, and then I'll keep all my y's on the left hand side and everything else on the right hand side, and then I'll solve. So we will get 14y is equal to 4. And that tells me that y is equal to 2 over 7. And now I have my value for y. Now that I have y, I need to take y and put it into any of the equations I was working with to find x. So I'm going to use the simplest equation, which is my new version of equation 2. And I'm going to take y is equal to 2 over 7 and put it into here. So where I see a y, I'm going to replace y with 2 over 7. And that will give me x is equal to 4 times 2 over 7 minus 1. See, all I've done is replace that y with 2 over 7. Now I can multiply this out, preferably without a calculator, but if you want to use a calculator, that is okay too. And we will get a value for x of 1 over 7. So now we have x is equal to 1 over 7 and y is equal to 2 over 7. And we have solved simultaneously. So these two lines on a graph, they would intersect at x is equal to 1 over 7 and y is equal to 2 over 7. Now you can get more complicated original equations, but the method won't change. You will just have to do a couple more mathematical steps when solving for x or y. But it's the same method and you can apply it to more complicated problems. So a quick recap. For the substitution method, what we want to do is from one of the two original equations get x on its own or y on its own, and we need to take that and substitute it into the other equation. And doing that, we can solve for either x or y, and then use that value to find the other one. I hope you all now understand how to use the substitution method to solve simultaneous equations. If there are any other topics you want me to cover in a video, please leave your suggestion in the comment section below. Happy studying, guys!